Alrighty guys, excuse my tiredness, I just woke up, but Pokemon Go has made some really big changes, or they're going to be in like a week. So we need to talk about this because this is, can potentially be a bit of an issue kind of thing. Now, the changes are to the remote raid passes in the game, and a lot of people are hearing this right now and probably freaking the hell out, and honestly, you probably should, because these are some really dramatic changes, and I'm going to go over them in a minute. But firstly, for those of you who are uninformed, I'm just going to explain the way the current raid system works, and why it's actually kind of bad, and I'll explain why. So, if you go into your shop right now, a remote raid pass costs 100 Pokecoins, which is this item here. You're probably thinking, actually I should probably explain the way raids work so far. So, there are normal raid passes, which you get one per day. Every player gets one of these per day, and you have to go to the raid in person. Remote raid passes can be purchased and allow you to go to a raid and then do a raid from anywhere in the world kind of thing, and just remotely go into it. Now, the issue with this is that paying players can essentially purchase, as long as they have the money, an unlimited amount of these remote raid passes from my understanding. Whereas free-to-play players, sorry, wrong button, are limited by the amount of Pokemon coins or Pokecoins that they can earn, which is 50 per day. Meaning, a free-to-play player is only realistically able to do 3 remote raids per week and then 1 normal raid every single day. So theoretically, the maximum amount of raids that a free-to-play player can do per week is 10. A paying player can do as many as they damn want, which is a bit of a problem. Having that big of a disparity between paid players and free-to-play players is never healthy for a game, ever. The only reason it doesn't matter and it hasn't really affected this game is because it's freaking Pokemon. If this was any other mobile game, that mobile game might have been shut down. That's how big of an issue this is, kind of thing. But yet again, because it's Pokemon, it hasn't really mattered or affected anything because it's so just massive. Let's talk about the changes that they're making, and a lot of people, I'm sorry, paying players, you are not going to like this. And free-to-play players, you're not necessarily going to like this either. And I'm still doing a bit of math and trying to calculate some things, but this might be subject to change. They might not fully go through with this. I don't know how this is going to work. But let's just read out this whole thing. So, we want to give you a heads up about the changes coming to Pokemon Go's remote raid passes. These changes are designed to rebalance the game and ensure it's enjoyed by trainers for years to come. The changes go into effect on April 6th at 11 AM. So very soon. Now here's where... Okay, so they made some good decisions and they made some bad ones. They made ones that all... Across the board, these decisions just hurt pay-to-play players. Just going to say that right now. But at the same time, they also kind of helped free-to-play, but also hurt them at the same time. It's really weird, I'll explain. So, the price of a Remote Raid Pass 3-pack will increase to 525 coins. A single Remote Raid Pass will increase to 195 Pokecoins. And a Premium Battle Pass 3-pack will be added to the shop for the price of 250 coins. I don't like this change. The reason why is, yet again, we explained before, that a free-to-play player could earn 1 remote raid pass every 2 days. Now it's going to be 1 remote raid pass every 4 days. I don't like that. Trainers will be able to participate in a maximum of 5 remote raid passes per day, so this heavily limits paying players, meaning they won't be able to do 100 remote raid passes in the day. Everyone across the board will be able to do 5. This maximum main change and increase for special events, so that's alright. Now this is I'm not sure how this next section is going to work, but I need to talk about this. Remote raid passes will be included in a pool of potential rewards for research breakthroughs. For those of you who don't know what research breakthroughs are, let me just head back to the game. Research breakthroughs are these. You get them from the final reward, basically here. Yeah, so I'm assuming it'll be added into this pool of rewards there. So, remote raid passes earned via research breakthrough will be subject to existing inventory limit of 3 remote raid passes per trainer. That already exists. If a trainer, well, maybe it doesn't. No, it does. Okay. If a trainer earns a remote raid pass from a research breakthrough while the 3 remote raid pass limit, they will receive a premium battle pass instead. Trainers who participate in 5-star raids in person will earn more XL candy than before. Okay, so there's a bonus to doing it in person too. Since their introduction in 2020, remote raid passes have come to dominate the experience of players, Pokemon Go, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so basically just saying they didn't intend for it to be that way. Okay, so here's where the problems are. So let's talk about how this affects paying players across the board. Unfortunately for you guys, it's pretty much negative, negative, negative. So for paying players, raid passes are more expensive. That's automatically a negative. Second thing, you're limited per day by how many you can do. And this one kind of also benefits paying players as well. You get a potential single or multiple. We don't really know how many you'll get from the breakthrough missions, but you'll get potentially one or more per week, which is pretty good. I don't know whether it's a singular remote raid pass or you can potentially get more than one. I don't know. And if you can get more than one, that's good. If you only get one, that's kind of bad. Okay, so let's talk about this from the free-to-play perspective. Previously, like I said before, Pokemon Go free-to-play players were able to get 3 remote raid passes essentially per week for free. Because you would earn 50 coins per day, so you times that by 7, that's 350 coins. Remote raid passes used to be 100 Poke coins per remote raid pass, so you could get 3 of them maximum per week. Because the price is essentially almost doubled, it's going to take 4 days, meaning you're able to get 1 on the release change that this happens, you'll be able to get 1. And then every subsequent week after that, you'll be able to get roughly 2 of them every remote raid pass a week after that. So automatically, you're basically losing 1 remote raid pass already. Correct me if my math is wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. And just correct me in the comments below, tell me how it actually is. But I'm pretty sure that's correct. On the first week, you'll be able to get 1, and then you'll have your extra group of 150 coins from the week that'll go into the next week. And then you'll be able to get 2 from that, and then so on and so on. But then it'll also get to a point where you can only get 1 again, and then it'll go to 2 again. So it's going to be kind of weird like that. Now, the remote raid pass participation limits, that doesn't really matter for free-to-play players because that never really affected you to begin with. Because you were not doing 5 remote raid passes per day as a free-to-play player anyway, so that doesn't really matter. Now, this remote raid pass, getting it from mission breakthrough rewards, is potentially good for free-to-play, but also potentially bad. Now, why? So we've already established that you're earning less remote raid passes on average. You're earning either 1 or 2 remote raid passes per week as opposed to the usual 3. If this gives you remote raid passes, 1 remote raid pass every single week guaranteed, that either puts you on the level you were at before or 1 less. So if you're earning 2 remote raid passes per week with this new system, you get 1 from the breakthrough, you get 3 now, which is what we were already getting. And then if you have 1 per week, 1 week, then you get 2, which is less. Now, if these give multiple from the breakthrough rewards, maybe 2 or 3, then that becomes good, because that means we can potentially get more per week than 3 than what we had previously. Now, the key wording here that really kind of worries me a bit is potential rewards. Potential. This means it might not be guaranteed. You might not actually even get a remote raid pass from this at all. And you can only get this breakthrough reward once every 7 days. So, from the let's just oversimplify this basically. So basically what they did for pay-to-play players is they increased the prices and limited by how many raids you can do per day, significantly limiting what you can do, which is honestly, a lot of pay-to-play players are going to hate this, but it's good. It needed to happen. The reason being is that disparity between what you could get as a paying player and what you get as a free-to-player was way too big. It was not good. But free-to-play players, they've essentially increased the prices of the things, so reduced the amount of things you can get per week. The limiting doesn't really matter, and they've either made it better with the remote raid passes or worse, because they're either going to be giving you potentially more remote raid passes or potentially less, which is the problem. So that's essentially what's going to be happening with the changes, guys. You can take that as you will. We need to see how specifically the remote raid passes from the mission breakthroughs work in game before we can determine whether it's a good change for free to play or not. But this was going to happen eventually, and it kind of needed to happen. And I know a lot of people don't want it to happen, because a lot of people, paying players, had fun. The fact that they could just do 50 plus whatever raids in a day. But unfortunately, it was going to happen and it needed to. But yeah, guys, that's kind of it for today's video. We'll talk about this more in the future when the changes actually come through. But yeah, anyways, guys, have a good one.